Hello guys, yeah, welcome to the last and final phase of this CodeFest Python Bootcamp. Though, let me make an apology. I'm sorry. We introduced during the beginning of the program. All we introduced that we're going to be teaching. We are not going to be covering all of them again. Reason is because of the time. It's a 2 day program, and these topics you need to go in there first to understand. Now, if it was to be that I'm creating a Python course and I want to upload it on my channel, fine, we would have been able to cover it and even more of it. But then this is a live class. During the class, there are a series of questions and so on and so forth. So, in order to round up this program, I've put together some projects that we are going to be coding here live, and also I also did some demo project that I'm going to be demonstrating during today's class as well. So feel free to stay, watch the video. I'm sure you're going to like it. Now, I'm not making a promise though, but if time permits, that's to say if I have time, I might decide to continue the Python video, or maybe create a new playlist as well, because that's what I'm going to be doing in the future. But as for this, I don't know if I have time. I might, continue the course here on YouTube, so that those that are interested can learn the Python from YouTube. You get, but it all depends on my time as well. But for now, let's enjoy the video, or rather, let's enjoy the class. Thanks very much, guys. See you in class. So I'm going to minimize this and take this one over here. Now let me show you the first project. If I open here, that's inside my CodeFest Bootcamp project, right? So I'm going to close all of this. After closing, I will open my terminal, then exit out of this terminal, clear my screen, right? Then let me open this. In fact, I will need to close this, open a new terminal again, and this should be CodeFest Python Bootcamp, right? Now I have 6 files here, or 6 projects over here. In fact, there are more than this. You get, there are more than this. I have up to 50 projects, but then we can't do everything together here. You get, you need to learn some advanced stuff before you be able to know how to do them. Now this first one is what we call a budget tracker, right? Now what's the budget tracker is? What's the budget tracker? Budget tracker is used to keep track of your budget, just like a way of a form of an expense tracker. What you want to do with a particular amount of money, how will you save it, and stuff like that. So you can use Python to do all of this stuff, so that you can control your method of spending, the way you spend money and everything. Right, so if I come here, all I need to do is just to run Python, right, budget underscore tracker, right, dot py. Now if I run this, it will tell me to enter my total budget. Maybe for this month I feel like I'm budgeting 20,000, or let me not go 20, I'm budgeting 5,000 for spending, right? Now it will tell me that okay, fine, budget tracker menu is as open. I should add an expense. What did I want to buy from this amount of money, or from this money I've budgeted? So I can see number one. So these options now is simply telling me to choose an option, either option 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, right? Now if I pick option 1, it tell me to enter the description of my expense. I can do something like buy shoes, right? Then it's telling me, it's asking for the amount. Let me say 300. Now if I press enter, you can see I added an expense, and the expense is to buy shoe, and the amount of the shoe I want to buy is what, $300. Now I can view my budget. So how can I view my budget? If I want to view this, just to press number 4 and press enter. You can see for my budget now, I have 5,000 initially. I spent 300. What will be left? Is it not 4,700? So this is it over here. So I can go to number 2. Number 2 is used to view my expenses. Now what are the expenses? I have just buy shoes, so let me add more expenses, right? So if I enter number 1, add an expense as, let me say, food. Now for food, I want to spend 500 naira for $500 for food. Then for data, or let me say internet, Oh, sorry, that's not a valid option. So I'll take option one again. For internet, I want to spend $1,000, right? Then for let me do something like let me see snacks. Right, for snacks, I want to spend up to 400. Right, so now this is what will happen. I'm going to view all my expense. So that's option two. Now these are the expenses I have: buy shoe, buy food, internet, snacks. Right. Now if I want to view my remaining balance, I can do something like number four. I will see my balance remaining, right, which is my remaining budget. If I enter option three is used to display my total amount of money spent, right? So what does this mean? If I add 300 plus 500 plus 1000 plus 400, that's 2. That's the amount I've spent, right? Then I can delete an expense. Let me say, okay, I made a mistake. I can delete. Now it's telling me to enter the index of the expense. Now for my expense, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I want to remove snacks. I don't want to add snacks. So if I put number 4, right, and I view again, you can see it's telling me that I've successfully deleted snacks, right? Now if I should view again by going to number 4, view remaining budget, can you see what I'm having? Sorry, not remaining budget, view expenses, which is number 2. Now you can see that the expenses are now 3. That last one is no longer there. Is that not so? So if I want to exit out of the application, just to press 6, I'm out of the application. So it's telling me that, okay, exiting budget tracker, goodbye. So this is one of the projects, right, I've already created. So this is one of the projects I've already created. Now let me just go through the code for you guys. It's not something you understand now, right? So this is object-oriented programming. We are creating a class. Then inside the class, we are creating a method. Now this first method is what we call the init method. It's an example of the dunder method, which stands for double underscore, right? Now this will take in yourself and your budgets. Then you take self.budget, say that to budget, self.expenses should be an empty array. Then I cannot define other method, a method to add an expense, a method to view an expense, a method to show my total spending, the remaining budget, delete expense. So all these things are, how will I put it? These are things you can only know how to do if you enroll for a full-time Python programming class. You get, which is not something of 2 days or something of 1 month. That's a 3-month Python programming class, whereby you are going to do Python from the beginner to advanced level. You are going to do a lot of things, like you learn everything in Python. You learn method, learn object-oriented programming, learn classes and prototype, learn inheritance. So there are a lot of things to cover. You really can't cover everything in 2 days. Okay, so these 2 days is just to like give you a basic overview, so that when you enroll for our program, it will be very easy for you to follow, right? Then also, this is one of the projects. Then let me show you another one. Now Python also works with GUI. Now what is a GUI? Graphic user interface. Now I created a calculator using Python. Now let me just demonstrate it for you guys. If I come back here, this is a calculator using Python. Now this is using a Python library called tkinter. Now what does this do? This is one of the famous Python GUI library. Remember yesterday we talked about GUI. Now as you can see, this first budget tracker we did, it was an example of a CLI. You get, because when we wanted to run the code, we were running it on the command line. So Python also has GUI libraries. Now if I run this, it's going to open tkinter for me. So if I come back here and do something like Python calculator .py, right? So you can see it has opened up my tkinter interface. So let me make it a bit small, right? Now I can come here, I can do addition. 7 plus 6, this will give me 13. I say times 9 equal to this, divide by this will give me a decimal number. So let me say divide by 117, so that we have a whole number. Okay, it's giving, okay, give me a float, right? Don't forget. So I can say times 6, right? So I'll say plus 1. So you can see now, if you look at this, like I said, we are making use of an external, an inbuilt Python library. First of all, We imported tkinter, which is a Python GUI library. Then we define an event called click. Then inside that event, we added the widgets. Then we go to test. Then so it's a very very long process. We created our buttons, tried to set them into rows and column, and we brought this out now. As simple as that calculator, you get. So there are a lot of things you need to learn before you can understand that. You need to learn how to write functions, not just function, how to run logic inside function, how to call function when needed, and so on and so forth. So that's for that. Then there's also what we call Hangman. It's a game. I think I did this one yesterday afternoon. I'll be strict even. Now what this game does is a word guesser. Now let me just demonstrate it. If I run Python hangman.py, right? Now he's saying welcome to Hangman. He's telling us to guess a letter. Now this thing is like a game that allows us to guess a spelling. Now if that spelling is correct, from my list of spelling, it will be appending the words I'm spelling inside of it. So as you can see, I have 1 2 3 4 5 6. So I think that's supposed to be the spelling of Python. So if I say P, you can see P is correct. If I say N, right, it will append N to it. If I say T, you get. So I already know that this is the spelling of Python, right? If I say H, if I say O, you can see congrats, my guess was correct. So I can clear my screen and I can run this code again, right? So let's say I don't know this spelling. Let me say P. Okay, I'm kind of correct. If I say K, can you see what's happening? It's telling me that the letter K does not appear in the word. You get. So that is telling me that I'm now having 7 attempts left. That is to say, by default it's giving me 8 attempts. So if I say J, you can see I already know that this is the spelling of JavaScript, so I can just give the correct spelling, right? You can see that's the correct spelling. So that's for that. Now, simple as this thing is, we need to learn how to use the Python random library, then learn how to create a list, then use the random library for the list, set this, then set the word display to this, push into this. Like, there are a lot of things we need to do, write a lot of if and else statement, reduce the attempt if I fail, and so many things, you get. So that's for that. There's also what we call MCQ. You know what MCQ is? Multiple choice question, right? So let me just run this. If I say Python mcq.py, now this is what I will get. Question 1 is saying what is the capital of France. Now let me pick the right answer, which is option A, right? It's telling me correct. Now so question 2 says what's the largest planet in our solar system. The answer is supposed to be Jupiter, but let me just pick a wrong answer. Let me just pick B, for instance. It will tell me I'm not correct. The correct answer was Jupiter. Can you see what is happening? Now the third question, the answer is B, right? So it's now giving me my complete score. It said I have 2/3. The quiz has been completed and it stopped the process, right? So that's for that. There's also stopwatch. Let me just demo this stopwatch and the to do. So if I say Python stopwatch.py, right? You all know what the stopwatch is, right? So this, we're also making use of the tkinter library, which is a GUI in Python. Now let's say I want to time something. I can just click on start, right? So it will start timing. Let me say I want to take a time of this class, you get. Then if I don't want, I can stop it. Then I can continue again, right? Or I can reset it so that it will go over to 0 again. So as simple as this thing, these are the codes that makes up this project. So you can see there are a lot of code, you get. I need to define a class called stopwatch. So there are a lot of things we need to learn as far as Python is concerned for us to build your word application, right? Then let me just demo the last one. Now you see this expense tracker we did, or budget tracker. We can also do it in form of a UI, but I don't want a situation where I will create same project twice. So I just have to do something different over here. So let me just demonstrate this one. If I say Python, right, to do.py, so this will give me thinking as well. So I can come back here, I can add a task. I can say study Python tomorrow. I can add a task, right? I can add another test. I will say cook for family and friends, right? Add a task. I'll say code all night, right? Add the task. So if I don't want anyone, I can click on that particular task. I hate cooking, so I'll click on cooking. I can delete it. You get? So there's a lot of things you can do with Python. These are just basic projects sef. You get? Like I said the other time, I use Python in building a social media application. I don't know if I can get that link. I don't know if I can get the link. Let me just show you a blog. Let me just show you the blog. I'm coming. Let me just show you the blog so that you guys can go and read about it later on. So open a new tab. I'm coming. Now let me go to Medium. Let me log in. I'm coming. Okay, good. So this is the social media application I built using Django. I also built an e-commerce, but I can't really remember where that link is. So this is the application. Let me see if I can zoom into this picture, right? So this was built using Python, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So it's just like a learning room whereby you go there, create a question, you can learn. I think I'm going to deploy this again so that for those that will be continuing with us, we are going to do this as a project. You can deploy it. You have your own social media application. You can invite your friends to start using it. So these are the things it contains. Let me just drop the link on the group chat so that you can go through it if you like to go through it. All right, so copy this. Then let me paste this over here. So that's for that. Let me also paste it on the WhatsApp platform. Okay, so that's for that. Now in today's class we are going to do some project as well. So it won't seem as though I just showed you guys advanced project and left you guys behind. We're going to do some projects combining what we've learned so far, right? I know we've really not learned much, we've really not learned enough, but what we've learned is at least enough to do some projects, and we're going to demonstrate them, right? So feel free. Remember, we've learned how to do a loop, right? So say how to run a loop. Let me not call it do a loop. For loop, while loop, and some other stuff. So we're going to combine those knowledge and do something. So before I proceed, because I want to start coding properly now. So before I proceed, does anybody have anything to say? Do you have a question to ask? If you please do so now before I proceed. You can see Felix is raising his hand. If you have a question, please do where to ask. Yeah, I'm waiting. Okay, Manuela.
Um, okay, this code we are seeing here now, they are the back end, right?
Say they are the back end. Now, but you see,
Because I
I'm,
want to understand, yeah,
this
I want
code.
to understand how, okay,
I'm coming. I'm coming. Just give me a minute. I'm coming. So let's continue. Ask a question. I'm listening. You don't wake up before you call the cry.
okay. I have heard some people saying back end, front end. Well, what is this all about? In this all the things we are doing, which parts is the front and the back end?
Okay.
I don't understand.
Now let me explain to you. Now in programming, there are different aspects of programming. You get. Now just like in the medical field, whereby everybody they are medical personnel, but there are different areas of specialty. There's a surgeon, there's a pharmacist, there's a nurse, and you get. So that's just how it is in web development as well. So that's how it is in programming as well. Now in programming, there's what we call web developers, there's what we call mobile app developers, there's what we call data scientists, machine learning engineer, and cyber security personnel, DevOps and cloud computing personnel. You get. So there are different fields. Now if you are into web development, that's where you hear word like front end, back end, and so on and so forth. I don't know if you get my point. Now this Python that you are learning, You can use Python for web development. You can also use it for data analytics. You can use it for you can use it for almost everything. So now what I'm just doing now, or what I'm just teaching you, is what we call basic Python. And the basic Python for every field of application of Python is the same thing. Even if I want to be a web developer, I want to be a data scientist, I want to be a cloud engineer, I want to be a robotics engineer, I need to learn this basic of Python. I don't know if you get my point. So now it is after this basic of Python we have advanced courses that specializes in each of these field. You get? So if you feel like enrolling in any of the advanced courses, maybe you want to be a web developer, fine. That's when you will now learn Python, Django, so you can now build something like this, what I just showed you now. You get? You can now build something like this using Python, and you learn a library in Python, which is Django. Also, we'll teach you HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So we'll give you web development course. Then Python will be for your backend, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript will be for your front end. Are you following? Now, if you say, okay, you don't want to learn web development, you want to go for data science and data analytics, fine. We'll teach you things about data science and data analytics. We are going to introduce other things to you. We'll teach you maybe one of the libraries like SciPy or Matplotlib. You get all of those things. Teach you Power BI, like all those things that are being used for data science and analytics. You get? If say you want to be a what's it called, AI developer, there's also a course for it. You get? So that's just how it is. So it depends on the field you want to go into. But this, what we are learning now, is just general Python, basics of Python. Everything is the same thing. So do you get my explanation?
Yes.
Okay. So, but then even this basic, like the basics of Python is still tough. When I say tough, this project I'm showing you, these are basics of Python projects, but like, it's kind of in depth. You get my point? So if you continue with us later, we'll also show you how to create things like this. Like, we're going to complete the basic course. It's longer than what we showed you guys. You get, this is just a 2 days boot camp. You really can't learn everything in 2 days. You get, there are a lot of things. If you notice, we've not even covered only yesterday's topic. We were not able to cover it because of the time. And now today's topic, I don't think we can even do it. So just to do a project, then we round up the 2 days class. Now that project will help you to understand what we've taught you guys already, prepare you for the next step to take. I don't know if you get my point. Because what we do in CodeFest is that if you are our student, we tend to do what we call weekly assessment. Now, because we want a situation whereby at the end of the program, you must know what you paid for. Like, you must be a master in what you paid for. Like, all of these things are going to be creating them without looking at anything. Like, you know how to code, how to write clean code, following any of the method, either object oriented or functional or procedural method. You get my point? So, is there any other question? Question before I continue. Yeah, questions before we continue. Okay, well, since there's no question, let's continue. Uh, Felix is raising his hand. I thought he wanted to ask a question. Okay, don't. Okay, fine. Let's continue with today's project. Now, today we are going to be building two simple projects. Now, let me just demonstrate them, and then we'll start. We'll start coding. Right? Let me just demonstrate them. Then we'll start to code. Now, I'm going to go back to my VS Code. I'm going to close this one. We're not going to be making use of that one. So those are kind of advanced projects. So I will open a new terminal. This will be Python CodeFest, Python class CodeFest, right? Uh, okay, so now let me demonstrate these two projects that we're going to be doing. Now, if I say Python project 1.py, this first project is what we call calculator. Yeah, this is a simple calculator that does operation based on what we input in it. You get? Now this is telling me to select an option. Did I want to perform addition or subtraction or exit? Now if I click on number 3, it will exit the program, right? So let me clear the screen and run the program again. Now let me click 1, addition. What did I want to add first? Let me say 10, right? The second number I want to add 23. You get, now the answer is what? 33.0. So I'm converting it to a float just to be on the safe side. Then now it's also telling me to choose another thing again. So I want to add, right? Okay. First number is 30. Second number is 80. Okay, so if I run this, it's giving me 110, right? We are still getting a message here saying the sum is above 100. So let me just say addition again. Let me add 2 plus 5. You can see this one is telling me the sum is 7.0. So let me do subtraction, right? So that is option 2. If I see 70 and I see 30, right, they tell me that the difference is 40. So let me take number 2 again. If I say 67 minus 70 minus 56, can you see what it's telling me? When I enter a negative number, it will tell me that that's an invalid input. So let me just exit the program and clear my screen. So this is the first project we are going to be doing. The second project we'll be doing is a roster. You all know what a roster is, right? So just like I have a school and I want to register students in my school, you get, so that's what it is basically. So when a student comes, I will enter the name of the student and that student will be appended to my roster. Then if the students decide to leave the school, you just remove his name from the register. That's what we'll be doing. So if I say Python project 2 dot py, right? So let me add a student to the roster. Let me add God bless. Then add another student. Let me add Freeman. Add another student. Let me add Emanuela. Add another student. Let me add Felix. Right? Let me add Lancelot. Okay, invalid choice. Sorry, 1. Add Lancelot. Right? Huh. I've been adding invalid choice ever since. So 1. Add Freeman. Okay, let me view my roster. So number 3, we view my roster. So I have okay, God bless Freeman, Emanuela, Felix, Lancelot. Okay, now this is what will happen. Now let me remove a student by using 2 to remove a student. So I want to remove the second Freeman. Then also let me remove again. Let me remove Felix. So if I say Felix, so Felix is number 4. Now let me display. Right? How do I display? So press number 3. So that will view all my students. So I now have God bless Freeman, Emanuela, and Lancelot. So please take note. So this is just a simple project, but then we are going to learn the basics of Python while doing this project and how to apply it. So let's get started. So are we clear with it so far? Before we continue, are we clear with this so far? Before we continue, so this is what we are going to be creating now. Are we clear with it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we can start now, right? Okay, Emanuela, let me hear from you. Are we clear with it? Felix, Jean. So is that clear? We can start, right?
I'm not so.
Yeah, not clear. We've not even started the coding. Say you're not clear. It's just a
You're a
demo of.
bit fast.
You said?
You're a bit fast.
Okay, let me demo it again. Let me just demo it again slowly. The second project. Now, like I said, this is what we're going to be doing. We'll be creating a roster. Like I said, you know what a roster is now, where I can register people to my school or organization. Now, if I say Python project 2, now it's telling me to select an operation. What did I want to do? Number 1 is to add student to my roster. Number 2 is to remove student from my roster. Number 3 is to view the current roster. Number 4 is to exit. Now let me take number 1 to add student, or if I say okay, let me view my roster by using number 3, I won't get anything because my roster is empty currently. Is that not so? Now I want to add a student. It's just to go with option 1, right? Now, what is the name of the student that I want to add? Let me add code first, right? Now, what did I want to do again? I want to add, so I will choose option 1 again. I want to add, let me add test region, right? What did I want to do again? Number 1, I want to add. What did I want to add? Let me add the GB media, right? So now let me display or let me view. So what will I use to view? Option 3. When I press enter, can you see what I'm getting? Current roster, I have CodeFest, test region, and the GB media, right? Then now I can now do something like remove. So let me do number 2. So what should I remove? Let me remove the second one, right? So if I view, don't forget I'm now having just 2. So it's very easy now. So if I say okay, I don't want to do anything again, I go with option 4. That will break out of the loop, right? So are we clear now? This is what we are going to be building. Are we clear?
Yes.
Okay, good. So let's get started. I'll try as much as possible to not to be too fast and also to beat the time at the same time. So let's continue. So I'm going to close this. I'm not going to be using this, right? All of the codes that we are using in this program, we are going to share the code with you as well. You get, so that you can play with it later on and do anything you want to do with it. So I'm going to remove these 2 folders from my workspace because this is not what we are using, right? I like it now. Remove folder from workspace. So I'm going to clear all of this. Let's dive into coding properly, right? I'm going to clear this. So file, add folder to workspace. These are my desktop and it's Python class, right? So this was what we were using the other time. Remember, I created the JavaScript file. So I'm also going to delete the JavaScript file because it's not needed, right? Now let's continue with Python. Now before we continue or before we proceed, in the morning or yesterday I showed you guys how to output Python codes. Is that not so? And I said if you want to output Python code, use the print statement, right? So I'll say Python output, right? Is use of print, right? I'll say print hello, right? So if I open my terminal and close this and I run this code Python class 1.py, I'm going to get hello. Now that's Python output. What about Python input? Python input makes use of the input function. So if I say input, then I say hello, or if I say what is your name. Now this is what this guy will do for me. If I run this code, you see I'm getting hello, what is your name? So I can now enter my name and press enter. But now it's not doing anything with my name. I can start to make this interesting. I can say okay, I want to set this to a variable, and that variable should be question, right? Then I want to print this variable. I'll say print question, right? Now what will happen? Now if I run this, it will ask me what is your name. If I enter God bless, I will get God bless because I'm printing it out. You get? So Python input is a way of collecting a user's input so that I can do something with it. So that's what I wanted to know because we are going to be making use of the input, right? So let's start with the number addition and subtraction stuff, right? Now how do we do this? Now you notice that when we ran the program, the first thing we had was a question that says do you want to do something, right? Now I'm going to close this. I will say project1.py, right? So let's follow through closely. Now like I said, the first thing we did was to ask a question, right? Now how do you ask the question? You ask the question by using a print statement. Is that not so? So inside of my print statement, I can do something like select select an operation, right, to start calculating. Let me just make it more interesting, right? So what does this mean? If I should run this program, I'm going to get select an operation. Sorry, I'm not on the right I'm not running the right file. So I'm supposed to see, clear my screen and say Python project 1.py. Oh, sorry, .py rather. So let me run it again. So you can see I'm having select an option to start calculating. Now there's what we call the new line function in Python. The new line is created by using backslash and n. So that will create a new line. Now if you watch, this thing is too, like, it's too close to each other. You know, how did you guys normally call that, cluttered or something? You know, I'm a white man from England. So let me just let me continue. So if I run this, I will get this. You can see now there's a space. This is now readable. In fact, I can decide to put another space under, just so that it will be very clear, right? So by doing backward slash and n, is that not so? So let me clear my screen and run this. Can you see what I'm getting? Please select an operation to start calculating. But now, how do I get those operations? I also need a print statement again. So I will say I want to print, number one should be addition. Number one, addition, right? Let's just do addition and subtraction. Number two will be subtraction. Number two will be subtraction. Then number three will be to exit, right? Now I don't want to, when I click on number three, I want to stop the process. So number three will be to exit, right? Will be to exit. Now this for this. Now if I come back here and I run this program, can you see what I'm getting? So I want to put a new line after the exit. So let me just put a new line so that there will be space. Let me clear my screen and run this again. So select an operation to start calculating. Now I have addition, subtraction, and so on and so forth, right? So let me clear my screen, run it again. Right, so this is what I need. Good. But now, what, Jesus Christ, what did I want this operation to do? I want a situation whereby I can be able to choose, right? Now, what will I use to get what I'm choosing? Now, what I'm choosing should be one of these, either 1, 2, or 3, so that I can perform an operation based on this. Now you can see that if I run this code, so when I run this code, you can see I'm getting select an option 1, 2, 3, right? So this thing is supposed to be expecting a way such that I can put an input, then it will give me my result based on that input I selected. Is that not so? So that will lead us to our next thing. Now what's the next thing? The next step is for us to create a variable called choices, right? So I can say choice. Now I want the user choice. In fact, let me name it so that I'll say user choice, right? Now I want the user choice to be equal to an input, right? And in this input, I want he or she to enter any operation, right? So I can say enter your choice. Now what are the choices I have here? I have
Please,
one,
what's the function of that slash n inside there?
is
That
a new line function. That's why I have this empty space
okay,
here.
okay,
Okay, so
okay.
let me close this guy, this panel. Now I can say I want this to be either 1 or 2 or 3, right? So let me clear my screen and run this. Can you see what it's telling me? It's telling me to please enter a choice, either 1, 2, or 3. Now I want to make it more descriptive by putting a colon here and a space, so that it won't just be close to this, right? So let me stop this process, clear my screen, and run this again. This is what I'm getting now. Now if I enter 1, I want it to do something, but now it's not doing anything. Why is it not doing anything? I'm just stopping the process. Can you see what is happening? So I've not added more logic. So let's go and add more logic. Now I want to check. Remember in the morning we did if statement. Now because the user choice will be one of 3. What are those 3? Either choice 1, which stands for addition, choice 2, which stands for subtraction, and choice 3, which stands for exit, right? Now let me be sure that this is capital letter, because I want to follow suit. Now I will come down now and say if the user's choice is equal, so why am I using brackets? Sorry. If the user choice is equal to addition, I want to do, or if the user choice is equal to 1, because 1 signify addition, right? I want to do something. Now what did I want to do? I want to prompt a question to the user, right? Now what question did I want to prompt? Now there are different ways of doing this. I can use a try and catch block, and I can also use something else. Try and catch block, try and catch block. Now we did not do try and catch block. Now if I say let me use try and catch block, it's going to be very difficult for us, right? Now we didn't use try and catch block. You get? Now what I will use is that I will use the other method, and this one is quite confusing. Now what do you mean by quite confusing? We are going to check if the number the user is entering, if it's a numeric number. You get? Because now after the user takes a choice of 1, we want to take 2 numbers from the user, right? Now we're going to check if these numbers are numeric numbers. So that's what we want to do. So how do we go about that? How do we go about it? How do we go about it? So yes, how do we go about it? I need help from you guys. We've been on this since yesterday. So by now you guys are supposed to, know how to help me out. So how do we go about it? So I need your help, guys. How do we go about it? Oh yeah, oh, man, help me. Oh, how do we go about it? Yap, 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 yap. How do we go about it? Okay, now let me give an idea. Now remember that there is a method I can use to check if something is a number, right? Is that not so? There's a method I can use to check if something is a number. But before that, let me just do something. Now remember I said after this, I want the user to enter a number, right? First number and second number. So let me just say number 1, or first number. Let me just call it first number, right? Let me say first number, or first input. Let me call it first input, right? Now I want this to be equal to what do I want it to be now? I want it to be equal to float, or no, not float rather, because I want the user to type something. I want it to be input, right? Then in bracket I will say enter your first, FIRST, enter your first number, or enter your first digit, right? So this is what I will do. Then I will get a second number which stands for, let me just call it a second input. I will say enter your second number, right? Enter your second number. Now let's see what this will give. Now if I run this again, if the user's choice is equal to 1, it will bring out that next question, right? Now I want to make it such that I will get a new line. Let me see if it will work. No, this won't work this way. It will not work that way. Okay, good. I can do it here. Let me put backward slash. So these are just ways of formatting the code, not like it's really necessary. So let me just clear the screen, clear my screen. Let me run it again. So now select an operation to start calculating. Take 1. It's now telling me to enter my first number. Can I enter 56? Enter my second number 89. You get, but now it's not doing anything, right? Now since it's not doing anything, what I wanted to do before was that I wanted to add the numbers, right? Now can I do something like now I want to convert these numbers to float. It's better to convert it to float, you get, so that everything will just be in order. There's no need of many stress. Now how do you convert the numbers to float? You can do something like this. Num1 num1, it should be equal to float of first number, or first input, right? And I will say num2 should be equal to float of second input, right? But now I want to consider a case whereby the number the user is entering must be a number and must not be a string or any other thing. I want that to be a digit. I don't know if you get my point. Now what does that mean? I need to check for the number, because see what is happening now. If I come back here, clear my screen, if I run this code, put addition, a user can come and enter anything. It will still come tell me enter. Can you see what is happening? Which these are not numbers. I don't know if you get my point. So these are not real numbers. So how do I prevent that? I don't want the user to be able to enter anything of his choice. Now I can come here, I can now check if the num1 input, or let me say if the first number, ROST, if the first input dot replace. Now I also want to check if it contains a decimal point. Now what does that mean? When there's a decimal point, I want to replace that decimal point and convert it to a real number before I do anything I want to do with it. So that will validate if that is a true number. Now the reason is because there are some things that will contain decimal point and they are not number. Like for instance, a user can come here and do something like this. Sorry, let me comment this code. I'm coming to, let me show you something. The user can come to my application now and do something like this. So I will say number one. I can now say yu point op. Can you see what is happening? So I'm using a decimal point in a, how would I put, in an alphabet. So I don't want any of such to happen. I want to avoid errors as much as possible. So I will now say, okay, if the first input dot replace. Now whenever there is a dot inside of this, I want to replace it with an empty space, right? So this is what will happen. If first input dot replace, then this, then I want to check for if this is a digit. Now I want to do something. If first input dot replace, I'm checking if it's a digit. I want to do something. Now watch what will happen. No, normally if I do this, I need to put this inside for me not to have an error. Now if for instance I come here, I want to print, okay, I say this is the replace, right? Okay, I don't want to show you the if statement first. I'm coming on. First of all, let's print this so that you see what this thing is returning. I want you to understand what this thing is returning. If I come here, if I say print all of this, now watch what I will get. Watch. Key this terminal, clear my screen, so let me run it. And if I say one, if I say let me use alphabet first, op.io, if I say 23.90, can you see what I'm getting? It's giving me a false value, right? Now why is it false? I'm having op.io. So opio, are they digits? No, they are not digits. You get, those are alphabet. Then now let's check if this is a digit. Now you get, so let me run this code again. Then number one, I will enter 45.90, right? Then I will enter I will enter any number. Now you can see that this second one is giving me true. What I'm checking for is just the first one. Now what this thing is doing is that it is removing the decimal point and converting it to a whole number. So if I show you this thing, if I remove this is digit, remember is digit to make it return true or false. You get? Now if I return this, if I put 4590 to give me 459, or let me just run it for you so that you see. Don't forget I use 45.90, so this will give me 4590 or 45 or 459. Let me just do something like this. So can you see what I'm getting? 4590. So you guys can see what I'm getting. So that's what I want. So now that is being converted into a digit. Now I don't want this to happen for just the first number, right? So it means that I'm clear here now, right? So I want to make sure that what I'm entering is a digit, right? Now if this is this and the second input as well is also being converted into a digit, that's the only case I want to continue with this program. You get? So let me just come here. I will say second input dot replace. Whenever I'm seeing dot, I want to replace it with empty stuff, right? Then now that's when I will come back here. Now I want to convert these things to float, right? And when I convert it to float, I want to set them into a variable called result, and the result should be equal to when num1 is added to num2. Remember, this is for addition. When num1 is added to num2. So if I do this and save, what will happen? Now I can decide to print this result. So let me just print the result so that you see. Right? So as simple as this is, you can see the lines of code we are writing. Now this is because we don't just want anybody to just come and input any rubbish stuff here. So if I clear my screen, let me run this again. So if I say 1, 23.9, right? If I enter 89, can you see what it's giving me? It's giving me the addition of everything. First of all, it's checking. But now let me enter rubbish information. If I come here, put number 1, and I enter 89 GB, what will happen? And I enter something like 90. Can you see what I'm getting? It doesn't work. It doesn't print out anything, because when you write an if statement and you don't put an else, nothing will come out if the if statement is not met, right? So you guys remember that from morning's class. So now it simply means we need to put an else statement. Now, not only do we need to put an else statement, we need to return a clear message to the user that, okay, fine, this is your result and this is your stuff. So I can use the, what's it called, the f string. Remember, I showed you the f string in the morning, right? Now f string means I can do something like this. I'll say the result of num1, right, and num2 is result. Now what is this reading? I'm simply saying the result of the first alphabet I will enter and the second alphabet I will enter is equal to the result it will give to me. Let me just clear the screen and demonstrate it. If I run this, number 1 enter 78.9, number 2 enter 90. Can you see the result of 78.9 and 90 is 168.9, right? So please take note of that. So what about my else statement? Now the other things I can do, I can check for if the result is less, bring this, but all those ones, they don't make sense. There's no need of doing all those things. They are not important, so let me just skip them. You get? So they are just some message based on the where I saw the question from. Like they say, if the result you're having is less than 10, print something. Your result is less than 10. If it's greater than 100, print something else. But again, those things, they don't really matter. Those are not the main business logic. So let me just come back here and do my else statement. Else, what is this else now? Else occurs when what I'm typing in is an alphabet, right? So I can now say print invalid input, right? I can now say please invalid input. I can do something like please enter a numeric value, but let me just say invalid input. This one is enough. So let me show you what is happening now. If I clear my screen, run this guy, number 1 addition. If I enter 78.9 or 0.0, enter 89.7, you can see to give me correct answer, right? Then clear my screen. If I run this again, if I enter YT point something, you can see sorry, I'm sorry, that's not what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to, enter number 1 first. So if I say UI plus O, then I say something, you can see it's telling me invalid input, right? But now it's just breaking out of the loop, so we'll find a way to prevent it. So let's continue. So that's if I'm picking choice 1. What about I'm now picking choice 2? What if I'm picking choice 2? So don't forget, if you have an if statement, this in our if statement started from line 8, right? Look at this line. So let me terminate that. Now I can now come here and do something like an else statement or an elif. Now the reason I won't use an else statement is because I also have 2 other options to check for. Now what are the 2 options? When the user enters a choice of 2 and when the user enters a choice of what? A choice of when the user enters a choice of 3, you get. So those are the 2 things I want to check for, right? So choice 2 now. What is choice 2? Okay, choice 2 is it's almost similar to choice 1. So what will happen? Let's just copy all the code from here because you see the same thing. Let's just copy everything. Let's not stress ourselves. And let's paste this thing over here. Now, but this time I will change it to elif. Right? Not only that will I change, I also come back here and change this to 2. right? So if it's equal to 2, I want the user to enter first number, second number, and also want to check if the number is a digit. Then if it's a digit, I want to return subtraction, right? Now after returning subtraction, there's something I want to do again. After returning subtraction, I want to print something. If the user is entering a negative number, you get, if the user is entering a negative number, I want to tell the user that no, I don't want a negative number, just give me only positive number. You get, so all the way down to this place I'm correct, right? Okay, the difference is okay. That's when the result of this, the result of I'm coming, let me also the result of let me see addition here, and let me see the result of subtraction here, right? Sorry, subtraction. Now I want to check if the user is entering a number that is less than 0, right? So let me just come down here. I can just check. I don't want the user to enter negative number. If my result, right, is less than 0, that's to say it's not nice if the person is doing minus something. I want to check for something. I just want to return something. What did I want to return? I want to return print. No negative number is allowed. No negative number is allowed, right? So this is what I will do. Finish. This is just it, right? Then also when the user is entering something that is not a valid number, it will tell me invalid input. Then now the last one is the else statement. Now what does the else statement mean? Now let's go up. The else statement now will now be when the user's choice is not 1 or 2. Let me say the user is entering else, right? In fact, let me not even, in fact, let me just do another elif because this is a valid stuff. Let me just say another elif, right? If the user's input if the user's choice equal to 3, if user underscore choice double equal to 3, right? Sorry, 3 is in string format. Don't forget your input takes string alone. Now what did I want to do? If the choice is 3, I want to break out of the loop. Now not only do I want to break, I want to print out something first before I break, right? So I will say print let me say exiting program or thanks for participating, exiting program, and thanks for participating, right? Is that not so? So I can now break. So the break is just a statement. Then I can do something like else. Why is my break giving me an error? If the user choice is equal to this, okay, so let me just print in my else. Now else, what I want to say print invalid input. So let me save invalid input. Now let me show you something. Please, who is that person? Off your mic, please, so that I will concentrate. Now let me show you something. Now you see this break statement, we don't need it now. Let me just remove it first. We don't need that break statement now. Now I told you something. Let me go back to our learning material. Remember when we learned this stuff? Let me just go back. Let me show you something before we continue. If I go over to loops, let me just search for break and continue. You get, now we treated break and continue statement when we talked about loop, if you could remember very well. So it simply means that there needs to be a loop for me to be able to get this. That's not the only thing. Then also I want this question to keep coming up until I say no, that is to say until I exit. I don't know if you get my point. Remember something that time I gave you the difference between for loop and while loop. I say for loop is used when I have known number of items I want to iterate or an array I want to iterate. You get. Then while loop is used when I want to create something like a bot, something that will keep asking me question until I jump out of the loop, right? Now there's a short logic we are going to use here. We are going to say while true, right? So while true means okay, the condition is true, keep running, everything will be running. You get. So I'm going to put all these guys in. You get. So while the condition is true, that's to say keep running the loop. Then when everything is happening, just break if the user choice is equal to 3. So this will keep coming up. So let me see if let's try this out, right? If I run this, select an option. Okay, let me take addition. Let me say 70, right? Second number 90. You can see the result of 70 plus 90 is what? 160. Can you see what is happening? because I say while true, now the loop has not, it doesn't encounter a breaking point yet, so I can still continue. So I can do something like this. I want to take subtraction. I want to say 90. I want to say 80, right? You can see my result is what? 10, right? So it's still coming up again. But whenever I pick 3, what does option 3 say? Option 3 say anytime I pick option 3, break out of the loop. But now I don't want to pick option 3 yet. I want to pick something that is not there. Let me say option 8. You can see, what did it say? It said invalid input, right? So it simply means I need to continue again. Like I said, I need to pick something else. So if I pick option 3, you can see exiting the program and thanks for participating. So this pretty much this about this project. So we are done with the first project. So let me go over it again. First of all, we wrote a print statement, then we printed what the user should enter, then we bring an input. What does this input do? To collect the user's input, right? Then we are now comparing what the user is entering. If it is any of these 3, if it is 1, enter this block of code. If it's 2, no need to enter the first block of code. Jump that if statement and come to the elif. You get? Then if it's 3, jump this first 2 and come to the third one. But if it's none of them, just jump to this last one and say invalid input. So let me run it. That's why when I enter something like 7 that is not there, it will just jump to invalid input. But because it's not breaking, you get, because this loop is still true, so it will go back again and start the code again all over. That's why I'm still getting select an option, not until I click on option 3, which says to break or jump part of the loop. You get? So that's for that. So is there any question before we proceed? I know that there are a lot of questions, but let me just see. So is there any question? Unmute your mic and ask a question. So we are done with the first project. Unmute your mic and ask a question. Unmute your mic and ask a question. Yeah, questions. Ha, Jesus Christ. Is there no question? So ask a question before we proceed. Ask a question. Do we understand? Or is any part still confusing? So ask a question so that we know what to do. Let me zoom out of this. Oh yeah, questions for the Zangas. Emanuela, is there no question? Dr. Kingsley, who else
What's the
again?
difference between else and elif?
S and elif is that S is used to terminate the if statement. That is to say, I don't want any other option. That should be my default answer when there is no option. But elif is still considering another case. In case the first case does not work out, give me another option. Again, now what does this mean? If the user choice is 1, do this line of code, but elif, that is to say else, if the user choice is not equal to 1, if it's now 2, do this line of code. Else if the user choice is now 3, do this line of code. You get? Then to the S is used for terminating. So any question before we go back to the project 2? Questions? Okay, I assume there are no questions, so let's do the second project. Now the second project, like I said, is a roster, right? Now I'm going to cancel this, cancel class1.py. Then let's create project 2.py. Right? Now I've already demonstrated the code for you before, so it's no longer here. But you saw what we did the other time. Something that will enable us to add, remove, right? Show the students, and also what again? To add students, remove students, show the number of students we have, and also exit the program, right? So let's do that. Now, remember something the other time. I said if I want to hold multiple values, I said is to use a list, right? Remember I showed you now when I did something like this. Let me go back. Let me do Ctrl F fruit. Right? Can you see what I'm having? So I have fruit, and the fruit is only banana, orange, grape, pear, and the rest of them, right? So the same thing is what I will use over here. I'm also going to make use of a list. So I will say initially let my roster be equal to an empty list, because I want to save items to the roster, right? So let my roster be equal to an empty list. So let me close this, increase this, right? Now after that, the next thing I will do again, I also need a loop to keep running, right? So before then, let me do my print statement. Now the first print statement will take something like this. I'll do something like a backslash n, and I'll say select an operation, right? You select an operation to perform, right? Now what are the operations I have? Now let me just duplicate this. Now the first, or no, let me control Z. I'll come back to this other project. I want to copy these lines of code, right? Because it's the same thing I want to type, and I'm tired of typing. Now the first one, we do something like add student to roster, right? So I'll say the first should add student to roster. The second one, we say remove student from roster, right? The third, we say display or view current roster. We say display or view current roster, right? Then the last is to exit. Is that not so? Now also I also need the user choice again, because then we want the user to input something, right? So I'll come back here, I'll say user's choice, right? So the two projects are similar. Is when I input something, right? And inside this input I do something like enter your choice, of operation. Now in bracket I want to say that 1, 2, 3, or 4, right? So let me give the user this option. Then after doing something like that, I will now check if the choice is equal to 1. I want to do something. So first of all, let me pass. Now don't forget, I'm sorry,
If user choice, if user choice.
if user choice rather, if the user underscore choice is equal to 1, I'm supposed to use double equal to. Remember, this is comparison, right? Now I'm also supposed to make it a string format, because like I said, the input takes only string, or it's gives string. Then also I will say else if, right, the user underscore choice equal to 2, right? Then I want to pass. We'll come back to that pass. We are going to fill it. So pass is just like saying, okay, this thing should just stay there. Don't give an error, because if I don't point it, will give an error. So let me just do early for when the choice is 3. Jesus Christ, what's wrong? So when the choice is 3, and when it is okay, when it is 4, and when it is nothing. So when it is 3, when it is 4, and when it is nothing. So nothing will be else, right? And this should print invalid input, right? Now we all know that we need the this thing later on. We need the while loop later on. So let me just bring the while loop. Now inside here I'll just say while true, right? Now I want to do something, so just to put all of these guys inside. Is that not so? Then this is when it's equal to 4. Remember, 4 is to exit, right? So under 4 I'll just put I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is supposed to be 3, this is supposed to be 4, right? Now under 4, what will I do? Just to put the break statement there, right? So we are good to go. So this is invalid input in string format. So this is for this. So we are good to go, right? So my loop will keep running. So let me just open my terminal, and if I run this code, project 2.py, right? So I can click on this, right? So it's still coming up again. You get select an option. Remember, I used pass. I've not started doing any logic. You get. So that's why I'm still getting a value there. So please take note of that. Now let's go and fill in those values. What do we actually need? Now if the choice is equal to 1, right? I actually want to give the student a form so that he can add his or her name, right? So I can do something like what's it called? Student name should be equal to input, right? Now say enter student name, right? Now after entering the student name, I want to append this to the list. So there are different list methods. One of them is append. So I will say roster dot append, right? Now I want to append the student name to the roster. Is that not so? Now after appending the student name to the roster, I want to print out something. Let me just say, okay, this student name, and just to give a feedback to the user, I'll say f string. I'll say student name has been added to the roster, right? So that's what that one will do. Then now for number two is to remove a student from the roster, right? Now to remove a student from the roster, the different ways I can use the dot remove method, right? I think dot remove is even faster. Let me see. If the user choice is equal to 2. Okay. Now I don't want to remove based on spelling the student name. I want to remove based on the index. You get? I want to make it easy. Like from the demo, we didn't type anything. It's just 1, 2, and 3 we were typing. We were moving based on the index. If you could remember very well. So that's what I want to do. Now I want to check if the choice is 2, right? Now first of all, I want to print the current roster so that I will see the names I'm having. You get? Now what I will do is that I will say, okay, the first thing to do is to say, okay, if the roster exists, if the roster exists, or if the roster exists, or I can say if the length of the roster is greater than 0. You get? So any of this will do this for me. You get? But let me just go with if the roster exists. What did I want to do? First of all, I want to print the current roster. How do we print the current roster? So let me just put a text here by saying current roster as a description, right? Current roster as a description. Now I will loop through the roster. Is that not so? If you want to loop through, you say for I in roster. Now let me record back. I'm coming. Let me save this code and record so that it will seem as though we are doing something new. Now can you see what we did over here the other time? Now when I have a for loop and I want to loop through it, when I have a fruit array and I want to loop through using a for loop, see I will do something like for I in this is it now, for I in fruit print I. Is that not so? Let me uncomment this code so that I will see it. For I in fruit print I. So it's the same thing we are doing over here. So I will say for I in roster, I want to print I. Let me see what I will get. If I print I, what will I get? I'm going to I'm sorry. For I in roster, I want to print I, right? Now not only do I want to print I want to do it in such a way that I will have something like number 1 this, number 2 this, number 3 this. So if I should come here and do something like print I, then I say comma, let me just do something like this. I'll say f string to make it more okay. I'll do something like a dot or an hyphen. I'll do something like I, right? So yeah, I can do something like for I roster. Okay, coming. For I roster, print this. Now let's see what this will give. Let's debug. Now let me just print I first, and just to be sure. I'm sorry, just to be sure, let's print I. Let's see what we get. Now if I run this code, select a name to add number one. Let me say God bless. Okay, I don't like the way this thing is formatted. Let me come back here and let me see student name, enter a name to add. So let me put a colon here and a space, right? So let me save. I will cancel this. So let's run it again. Number one, God bless. God bless has been added. Number I want to add again. Freeman, right? Freeman has been added, right? Now I want to, what do I want to do again? I want to add again Lancelot, right? Lancelot has been added, right? Is that not so? Now let me click on 2. Remember we're in 2, right? Number 2, we say if the user choice is equal to 2, then if roster is it, print this and print I. So if I pick 2 now, sorry, that's not what I'm supposed to do. So if I pick option 2, can you see what I'm having? It's saying the current roster is God bless Freeman and Lancelot. Now like I said, if you are looking through the array, or sorry, through the list by saying for I in list, it simply means you are assigning a single variable in that list to be equal to something, each of the element. Now what we're supposed to do, we can say the length of the roster, so that I will get a numeric value. Now this will give me a numeric value. Now not only this, I will say I want to get the range, right? Remember this will give me a numeric value. Now if I come here, remember if you do something like for I in range, if you print I, you are supposed to get 1 2 3. Now let me demonstrate this again so that it will be clear, right? Let me demonstrate this. If I run this, number 1, if I say God bless, number 1 again, Freeman, number 1 again, Lancelot. Now I'm going to get numeric value if I use 2. Can you see what I'm having? I'm having 0 1 2. Now this 0 1 2 is the index, but now I don't want it to be 0 1 2. I want it to be 1 2 3. So I will add plus 1 to this, right? So that I can get 1 2 and 3. So let me clear my console and start this process again so that you see it. Now if I run this 1 GB, 1 Freeman, right? 1 Lancelot. So let me use 2 now. Can you see what I'm getting? Can you see what I'm getting? I'm not getting 1 2 3, 1 2 3, right? So good, this is what I want. But now I don't just want to print 1 2 3. I want to use f string, right? F string to print out this. Now not only do I want to print out this, I also want to get the particular what's it called, the particular name of that the particular name that has been assigned to that number. So I can say roster in variable format, roster, right? And I will say square bracket I. Don't forget square bracket I is representing the index. So when I look through, index of the first one, index of 0 will give me the first name that is in that list, index of 1 will give me the second name, and so on and so forth. So let me print this out so that you see what I'm actually saying. So if I clear my screen, run my code, right? Number 1 GB, number 2 Freeman, number, oh sorry, invalid input, number 1 again, sorry, Freeman, then number 1 again Lancelot, then now number 2. Can you see what I'm getting? Number 1 is GB, number 2 Freeman, number 3 Lancelot. So this is what I want, right? So I've succeeded in getting it. But now not only do I want to do all of this, I want, the reason I'm printing it out first is because I want the user to be able to see what he or she has currently before you can remove, you get, so that I will know what to remove. Now after this, I want to take something. What do I want to take? The user choice, or whatever name the user is removing, or whatever index the user is removing, right? Now I'll do something like this. I'll say index, sorry, I will say index, right? This index should be equal to something, and this something should be an input. Now whatever input, the whatever index the user is adding, so I will say please, let me make this descriptive, coming. So I will say please enter an index to remove a student name, right? Or I can say enter and enter, let me just use enter a serial number. So let's assume the left, something at the left is a serial number. Enter a serial number to remove a student name, right? So we want to remove the student name by its ID or serial number, or remove the student name by ID or serial number. Any of them is correct, right? So I'll just put this and this, right? Now how are we not going to do this, right? Now we are going to check again if the index the person is entering, if it's a digit, now some people can put in 5, sorry, some people can put in hex, some people can put in alphabet, but now I want to check if that index is a digit. I'll say if the index dot is digit, right? If this index is a digit, I want to do something. Now what did I want to do? um First of all, I want to get the index. I'm coming. Why is my work like this? Print this index is equal to an input. Okay, I'm not supposed to tab this inside. Sorry, that's easy for the error, so let me take it back a bit. So this is supposed to be from here, right? So the error is no longer there. Yes, so that's an indentation error, so I've removed it. So now I want to take the index, right? And I want to assign the index to be equal to index minus 1, not just index minus 1. I want to make sure it's an integer value. You get? So I can come here and say int index minus 1. Now let me tell you what is happening over here. Now remember something. If you look at this, I made it in such a way that the index, I added 1 to it so that I can get 1, 2, 3. But now that's not the real index. Remember, the index is 0, 1, 2. Now I want to set it back such that the index will now go back to 0, 1, 2. So if it was 2 before, I want to subtract 1 from it. If it was 1, I want to subtract 1 so that it will be 0. If it was 3, I want to subtract 1 so that it becomes 2. So that it matches what I have initially, or matches what is supposed to be in the array. You get? So if I have that, I can now come back and do something like this. Okay, I can now check for if the 0 is less than index. That's to say if 0 is less than my index and this is less than again my length of the roster. I want to do something. Now what did I want to do? Jesus, time is fast running. My time is almost up. Now what did I want to do? Now what I want to do is that I want to remove it from the array. So I can do something like this. I can set a variable called remove name or remove student. So remove student, this should be equal to the roster dot pop, right? Now pop is a method to remove from an array. You get? So please take note of that. Pop is a method to remove. So I can pass in an index so that I can pass in an index so that I will remove that particular index I'm adding in. Don't forget, I want to pop out based on the index. I can also use delete or remove. You get? So all of these will work. Then after this, I can now write a print statement, right? Inside this print statement, I can use f string. I can say what's it called? I will say remove student, which is the name. So let me just put this like this. I'll say the remove student, right, has been removed from the roster. So I'll say has been removed from the roster, right? So let me do something like this. And after that, I want to go to else. Now remember, this is an if statement. Else, if 0 is not less than that or is not less than this, I want to say print invalid. What's it called? Jesus, my battery is down. I want to say print invalid index. I want to say print invalid index. So that's for that. So that's when it is case 2. And not only that, now don't forget I have an if statement over here. If this thing is digit. Now if it's not digit, like if not a digit, I also want to print invalid index as well, right? Invalid index. So let me just say print invalid index. That's when it's not a digit as well. Invalid index. Now not only that, do I have another if statement? Okay, I also have another if statement if there is a roster, right? Okay, if there is a roster, now what will happen now if there is no roster? So let me say s, right? So if there is no roster, I want to say the roster is empty. That's to say if there is nothing in the roster. That's why I wanted to use something like roster dot length greater than 0, or the length of the roster greater than 0. So you see the same thing. So I will say print no student in the roster, right? I'm almost done. So let's go to choice 3. Now what is choice 3? Choice 3 is when I want to what again? When I want to display or view the current roster, right? Now if I want to view the current roster, what will I do? I've already done the logic over here, so I can just come here and copy this line of code, right? Let me just copy this. So I will paste this here for method 3. Sorry. Let me just correct my indentation, right? So I'm going to put this in, right? Then I'm going to remove this. I don't need this pass over here again. So this is what I need. So if the roster exists, right, I want to print it. So that printing I did the other time. Then if it doesn't exist, so this is it. So let me just copy this else statement. I just want to do copy and paste, and we'll be out of here. Paste this over here. So this is my else. That's to say, if it doesn't exist, I want to print no student in the roster. Now what about if it's 4? If it's 4, I want to break, right? So I can do something like exiting program. Let me just say, let me just go back to this place and copy what I wrote there the other time. Thanks for participating, exiting program, something like that. Sorry, it's inside of this file. So bear with me, the last thing. So this is just it. Then come back here, then paste this over here. So we are done with this program. I know it's a pretty long program, but let's just pay attention. Like I said, you can't know all of this in just 2 days. Just constant practice is what will make you understand it. You get? So let's test the code. Let's see if it's running. If I Ctrl Z, clear my screen, my system is almost off. So I'm going to run this program, make sure it works, and I will join with my phone. Then we can continue the discussion. If I say Python project 2.py, right? Now select an option. Now let me pick 4. If I pick 4, you can see exiting the program. Thanks for participating, right? So let me clear my screen, run the program again. Now let me pick 3. You can see no student in my roster. Remember, I say if the roster is empty, look at it very well. If there is a roster, do this else print no student in my roster, right? Now because of the loop is still running again, so let me take 1, let me add a student, right? Now let me say God bless. Now let me add another student again. Let me say Freeman, let me add another student. Let me say Lancelot, let me add another student. Let me say Maxwell, right? Now let me press number 3, displaying the student. I have God bless, Freeman, Lancelot, Maxwell, right? Number 2, let me remove, right? Sorry. Number 2, I said remove a student, enter your choice. Okay, Jesus, okay, current roster, enter a student name to remove. Okay, there's a little bug here, but I'm going to fix it. Enter a student name to remove. Let me just say 1, right? Invalid index. There's a little bug here. There's kind of a bug here. So let me see. Enter a serial number to remove. Okay, God bless has been removed. Though it has been removed. If I post let me, if I'm coming. There's a little bug here. So let's go over the code again. Let's go check what's wrong. So let's go check, right? Doing the remover. What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? So I had something like int index -1, right? Okay, index, enter the stuff remove. Okay, if it's digits, index equal to index -1. If 0 less than or equal to index less than or equal to length of the roster, the remove student should be equal to roster.pop, then by the index, then printf remove student removed from the roster, right? Then else invalid, right? Then else. Okay, I've seen the error. I've seen the error. I've seen the error. So there's supposed to be an else statement here. There's supposed to be an else statement here, right? If this is this else, so there's supposed to be an else statement there. So I think that's the issue. Okay, so I'm going to demo it again and see how we can get this error out of this. So if I say Python class, sorry, project 2.py, so you can see it's asking me select an operation to perform. So let me take 1. Let me add the name, God bless, take 1 again. I say Freeman, take 1 again. Let's say Lancelot, right? Now to display, of course, I'm going to use theory, so it's displaying all of the name. Then to remove the name, so I'll take two. As you can see, thing is just looping and bringing out only one for me, right? Now the error is coming from the place, I guess, because I'm not supposed to indent this. You get, so I'm supposed to take this back, right? Because what is happening here is that as it runs the first loop, it's trying to enter all of this, then check for this and check for this, right? And over there, there's no how will I put it? The program is being terminated over there, so that's why you can see that it's just printing only once, and it's telling me to enter another name to remove. You get, so I'm not supposed to do that. I'm supposed to go back first, right? Because this input is terminating it. I'm supposed to go back because I want all of the name to come out first. So that's what I'm supposed to do. Then I think this indentation it's not an issue though, but let's just take it back. So this problem has been solved. Not that it's a logical error, but just I want to get all the loops first before doing that. So let me just run it again. So I will say one. Nice. I'll say God bless. I'll say one again. Freeman. I'll say one again. Lancelot. And now I will press 3 in order to display. Then in order to remove, I press 2. You can see I'm getting all of the name. So I want to remove Freeman, so 2. So by the time I display again, you can see I'm now getting God bless and Lancelot. So that's it, guys. This is everything about this project. Do it simple, beginner friendly, but then you need to know how to put all you've learned. You need to learn how to put them together and build something that's at least okay. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys. So I'll be on the WhatsApp group to take your questions and answers. So thanks very much, guys.